Ramesses II, one of the greatest kings of ancient Egypt, ruled the country for more than 66 years, from 1279 to 1213 BC, during the 19th Dynasty. Born in the city of Tanis, he ascended the throne at a young age after the death of his father, Seti I. Ramses II is known for his military achievements, having led numerous campaigns to secure Egypt's borders, most notably the Battle of Kadesh against the Hittites, which resulted in the signing of the first documented peace treaty in history. He was not only a military leader, but also a patron of the arts and architecture, constructing many great temples, such as the Temple of Abu Simbel and the Ramesseum. His reign was marked by stability and prosperity, and he was nicknamed Ramses the Great for his tremendous achievements. He also led massive construction projects at Karnak, Luxor, and Memphis, leaving behind an architectural legacy that continues to amaze the world today. Ramses II died at the age of 90 and was buried in the Valley of the Kings, where his mummy was discovered in the 19th century and is now on display in the Egyptian Museum in Cairo. Ramses II was born around 1303 BC in the city of Tanis, modern-day Qantir, in the eastern delta region of Egypt. His father, King Seti I, was one of Egypt's greatest kings, focused on consolidating his rule and expanding the influence of the Egyptian empire. This meant that Ramses grew up in a royal environment steeped in politics, warfare, and administration. From his childhood, Ramses received rigorous training in military and administrative arts, as his father was keen to prepare him to be a great leader. He was surrounded by the most skilled military commanders and priests, who taught him the strategies of government and combat, which later helped him skillfully command his armies and achieve great victories. By the age of 10, he was appointed a royal prince and given military and administrative responsibilities. He began accompanying his father on military campaigns, gaining significant experience in leadership. When Seti I died, Ramesses II ascended the throne in his mid-20s, ushering in a golden age of military and architectural achievements. As a young man, Ramesses II received intensive training in military and administrative skills, as he was expected to become a powerful king capable of leading Egypt and protecting its borders. He grew up in a royal environment filled with challenges and responsibilities, surrounded by senior military commanders and advisors who were keen to teach him the arts of war and political strategies. In addition to his military training, Ramesses II learned religious and administrative sciences, with priests playing a significant role in instructing him in the religious doctrines and practices that the king was required to adhere to. He also received lessons in engineering and the arts, which later helped him oversee the massive construction projects that characterized his era, such as the temples of Karnak and Abu Simbel. During his youth, he participated in military campaigns led by his father, Seti I, which gained him extensive experience in managing armies and military maneuvers, making him an experienced leader before officially assuming power. When he ascended the throne in his 20s, he already possessed superior leadership skills that made him one of the greatest pharaohs in Egyptian history. Ramses II was one of the greatest military leaders in ancient Egyptian history, waging numerous campaigns to expand Egypt's influence and protect its borders. Here are his most notable military achievements. Step back in time over 3,000 years, where the clashing armies of two ancient superpowers marked one of history's most monumental battles, a conflict so fierce and legendary, yet so misunderstood, that it would give rise not just to tears and blood, but to one of the earliest known peace treaties. This is the story of the Battle and Peace of Kadesh. The year is 1274 BCE. The place is modern-day Syria. near the bend of the Orontes River. The Egyptian pharaoh, Ramesses II, leads his forces northward to assert dominance over the contested territory. His goal? To seize full control of Kadesh, a fortified city considered the crown jewel of trade routes and power. But standing in his way is King Muwatalli II of the Hittite Empire, a rival determined to hold his ground against Egypt's growing influence. Ramesses, confident in his strength, commands an army of around 20,000 soldiers, divided into 4 divisions named after the gods: Amun, Re, Ptah, and Seth. But pride, could it be a dangerous cloud? As Ramses approached Kadesh, he received information from 2 captured Hittite spies. They claimed that the Hittite army had retreated far behind the city, leaving it vulnerable. Convinced by this deception, Ramses advanced quickly. He led the Amun division ahead of the others. And here he made a fatal mistake. Unbeknownst to Ramses, King Muwatalli II hadn't retreated at all. Instead, he had secretly amassed a massive Hittite force, hidden in the nearby forests. Neither he nor his army cowered in fear or fled. They were waiting for the right moment to attack, and they struck. The attack was swift and devastating. The Hittite chariots, numbering over 2,000, thundered out of their hiding place like storms unleashed, descending upon the scattered Egyptian forces. The division of Amun, caught off guard and isolated, was shattered in the frenzy. Panic spread like wildfire through Ramesses' troops. For a fleeting moment, it seemed all was lost. Ramesses, known as the Great in later history, faced the ultimate test of his might and leadership. But if legends are to be believed, it was in this chaos that Ramesses displayed the bravery that would make his name immortal. According to Egyptian accounts, admittedly biased, Ramesses rallied his forces single-handedly. Standing firm amid the spiraling catastrophe, he prayed for divine intervention and charged straight into the Hittite forces. His chariot zipped through the fray, and in a scene that feels half history, half myth, was said to have fought off Hittite swarms, as if protected by the gods themselves. Reinforcements from the other divisions began to arrive, turning the tide just enough to force the Hittites to retreat temporarily. But make no mistake, the Hittites weren't defeated. They regrouped behind Kadesh's walls, their numbers still strong. The Egyptians, battered and exhausted, couldn't breach the fortifications. Days passed in a tense stalemate, with neither side gaining the upper hand. And so the battle ended in a draw, not the resounding Egyptian victory Ramesses had hoped for, nor the crushing defeat Muwatalli had plotted. Yet it's what happened after the dust settled that makes Kadesh truly remarkable. Both sides recognized the need to end this relentless tug of war. Years later, following continued skirmishes and mounting losses, Egypt and the Hittite Empire exchanged envoys, culminating in a revolutionary accord, the Treaty of Kadesh, the earliest recorded peace treaty in human history. Inscribed in clay tablets and etched into temple walls, the treaty didn't just halt the fighting. It established a promise of cooperation. It declared mutual respect, outlining obligations for both leaders to aid each other in defense and ensure prosperity in their domains. Sure, the treaty wasn't entirely altruistic. Both empires were battered from years of conflict, and neither could afford continued warfare. But it signified something extraordinary, a recognition of diplomacy's power over destruction. In the centuries that followed, the legend of Kadesh echoed across civilizations. Ramesses, always eager to amplify his achievements, bragged of his victory against the Hittites, immortalizing his valor in stunning reliefs on Egyptian temples. Meanwhile, history remembers Muwatalli II as the strategist whose cunning nearly brought Egypt to the brink. But Kadesh's legacy endures not in the number of chariots that thundered across the battlefield, but in the ink and clay that sealed a fragile peace. And so from the carnage came a spark of hope, an ancient reminder that even amid the fiercest struggles, Compromise and cooperation can turn rivals into allies. The Battle of Kadesh may have ended in stalemate, but its peace shaped the path of diplomacy for centuries to come. A story of war, a story of determination, and above all, a story of the courage to choose peace.